Lord. Okay, can someone see me? Anyone? Are we good? Are we going? Okay, hi everyone. I practiced this like 15 times earlier and like 10 times before I just started, and go figure, right at 9 o'clock, there was no video. So I apologize for having to do that a few times. I'm gonna give it another second for you guys to find the link. Again, I'm so sorry. And then I'll get started here in like just a few seconds. Make sure everyone has a chance to get on. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, you guys, well, I'm so excited to talk to you guys about team cycles and cap outs for our week 3 of our volume training. First thing I wanted to do was show you where you can find this. Hang on. Okay, so you're going to go to your back office, and when you click on your, let's see, is this? When you click on your commissions tab, and then you click on one of your commissions for the week, it's going to pop up, and it's going to, let's see if I can do this and y'all can see it. Right here where it says team bonus, that's where you're going to find your weekly cycle bonuses, your team cycle. So what you are doing together and what your team is doing together. So I always like to show where you can find it, because I know when I was a newer coach, I was kind of lost in the back office. So that's where you're going to want to go to each week to see what your team cycle was, and also Katie is going to go over the matching bonus too. So that'll come in the upcoming weeks. Okay, so let's dive into this, y'all. How do we cycle? Okay, so I know that this is one of the most kind of confusing topics, or at least it was for me. And how you cycle as a coach is basically every time one of your legs gets to 200 PV, typically that's going to be, TV, typically that's going to be your strong leg. Every time that gets to 200 team volume, and every time your weak leg or your other leg gets to 100, that is one cycle, okay? So every time it gets to 300 total, it's one. And you can see here, I'll share this in the group, that there is 540 team volume and 200 on the right leg, and that equals 2 cycles, because 200 goes into 542 times. So if you are an Emerald coach, that means that week you cycled twice, which would be $28. And as a Ruby coach, you are going to cycle at $16 a cycle, and Diamond is $18. Okay, so I know that that might not sound like a lot right now, and I promise you guys, as you keep building and growing, and as your team grows, Erica, you guys are going to see that number grow as well. Okay, let me just show you all the next thing. This keeps popping up. Okay, so how do you guys determine your cycle, right? I am not a math person at all, and I'm able to kind of look at my cycles each week now and just do it really easily. So here are 2 ways that you guys can determine what your cycle bonus is going to be each week. You can take your weak leg or your lower leg volume and divide it by 100 and then times by 18, or you're going to times by 14 if you're an Emerald coach, 16 if you're a Ruby coach, and obviously 18 if you're a Diamond. Or you can add both of your legs up and then multiply by 0.06. And again, these are estimates, and you can see here it's giving you a pretty close number of what each one will be. And so what I just did was took a screenshot of my back office, and you guys can do that too, and start to get comfortable and familiar with figuring out, what your cycle is going to be each week. And this is a great way for you to have different goals and set different volume goals for yourself and your team based on what benchmark you want to hit. So my first goal on my weak leg was to get it to 500 and then 1,000. And so it's just a great way to reverse engineer your goals, which is our topic next week. So that is going to be exciting as well. Let's do this. Every time it pops up on my face. Okay, so how and where do you cap out at each rank? This is important because as your team is growing and as you're cycling more and more, you want to make sure that you are growing and pushing towards the next rank. Because you can see here at the Emerald rank, you cap out at $250 a week. So if you make, say, $260 that week, you're not going to get that additional money in cycling because you've already reached your max. So this is a great benchmark as well to look at and figure out where your weak leg volume needs to be, where your strong leg volume needs to be based on your goals. And again, don't look at these numbers right now and compare them to where you're at, because you're going to continue to grow and you're going to continue to hit those benchmarks. And they might seem like, oh my gosh, how can I get there? Like, I'm not even close to that. And I promise you, if you keep diving in, working with your team, you're going to get there. I think we all have had the same thoughts. I know I did. For those of you guys who know my story, I sat there for 2 months as a coach and didn't do anything. And so, thinking about how I was going to grow my team and how I was going to hit these numbers and all this stuff was overwhelming. And use this as a guide, as a benchmark, as a goal setter, and don't get too overwhelmed with, I'm never going to get there, because you will. And hang on, let me put this down. So I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Hang on, it's gonna pop up again. And so with that being said, you guys, this is kind of where I started, and I want to show you guys this because it really does over time. I can't stress this enough, and I can't stress this to newer coaches. Over time and doing things consistently, your volume will start to grow, okay? Your team will start to grow, and you will start to cycle. You'll start to get there. I know, look at me. At first, it took forever. And had I given up or thrown in the towel or, said I'm never going to get there, then I wouldn't have. So I encourage you guys, no matter where you're at right now, to plug in, to this training, to learn as much as you can, and to keep pushing forward, because cycling is one of those things, at least for me, that happened with time. My first cycle was at $14. It was like a month and a half after I dove in as a coach. And from there, it's continued to grow. So I always like to share this part. I share it with my team because from the looks of this as a newer coach, it doesn't really look like, I'm doing much, even though I was plugging away each day, doing the 3 vital behaviors, diving into the trainings, and everyone is at their own pace in this journey, and I can't stress that enough. So I know I kind of went over that stuff really fast, and sorry again about the beginning. Team cycles and capping out is just one of those things that you have to do each week and calculate yourself to really understand. I know it took me a few weeks of looking in the back office, seeing the numbers. Anything here in blue in the back office, you guys can click on, and it'll create a breakdown of where that commission, where that volume, where those Success Club points, anything in blue in the back office, y'all can click on and it'll break down for you. So one suggestion and tip that I have leaving you guys tonight is make sure each week you are getting in there and getting familiar with your volume numbers and with your commission numbers. It's going to help you not only understand it, it's also going to be able to help you explain to your team and your downline what these numbers mean to them in the back office. So get familiar with the numbers, and I suggest that you guys look at your back office too before Thursday and bring any questions that you have. And I look forward to it. All right, guys. Sorry again about tonight. I look forward to talking to you guys on Thursday. Bye.